Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday morning, May the 5th. We talked about an omega blocking pattern in the upper part of the atmosphere featuring two deep upper level lows, and indeed, those are the areas of focus today. One is located out over the southwestern part of the nation, and the other is spinning over the Ohio Valley, causing some showers and thunderstorms for the Ohio Valley, the Mid-Atlantic region, into the northeastern U.S. These are both slow-moving systems, as is customary for an omega blocking pattern, and both of these can produce some severe weather over the next 24 to 48 hours or so. This is the latest severe weather probability outlook by NOAA's Storm Prediction Center for today, tonight, into early tomorrow, and you can see kind of an enhanced risk down here out across the western part of Texas. Really, that severe weather threat will extend all the way up into eastern New Mexico, the Panhandle region of Texas. Meanwhile, the second upper level low, again, is spinning right now over the Ohio Valley. That too can produce some severe thunderstorm activity later today and tonight, and again on Tuesday and Tuesday night in this part of the nation. Well, here's a look at the nationwide radar this morning from Weather Underground, WSI, and Telecast. A few things I want to point out. First of all, you can kind of see the spin in the atmosphere with these radar echoes. And again, this is where that eastern upper level low is situated, right in this region right here. And these are actually wrapping around, and this whole system is pumping some moist air up along the Atlantic seaboard, and it will the radar will see kind of an expanding coverage of echoes during the latter part of the morning into the afternoon. So expect this to fill in with more numerous showers and thunderstorms as we progress through the day and into the night. Meanwhile, out in the west, there's that second upper level low spinning out over the southwestern states. And you can see a little bit of blue right in here over some of those higher elevations of the Colorado Rockies. And look at this up in Montana. A lot of snow falling this morning in some of those higher elevations across the western part of Montana. We've talked about this at length. When you have this cold air infusion coming in off the Pacific Ocean into the southwestern states, it can clash with warm and more humid air. In this particular case, that is what is happening today right in this part of the nation. Let's kind of clear the deck here. And again, this is the area of concern for the possibility of severe weather later today, with that cold air sliding into the east and clashing with that warm and humid air out ahead of it. Now, this same storm system will produce some significant snowfall, especially later tonight into the day on Tuesday across some of those higher elevation regions in the Colorado Rockies. Again, some significant mountain snow on Tuesday up across the Colorado Rockies, and continuation of some snow farther to the north and west. Well, here's a look at that blocking pattern in the upper part of the atmosphere. We talked about how you can have a flow in the upper part of the atmosphere that tends to resemble the Greek letter omega, and that is why this is dubbed the blocking pattern, or the omega blocking pattern, with two upper level lows. In this particular case, one is spinning right now over the Ohio Valley. It will slowly, very slowly, inch to the north and east over the next 48 hours or so. And again, a threat of showers and thunderstorms in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, and the rest of the Mid-Atlantic, Ohio Valley, right through tomorrow night. And this is causing the severe weather threat out across western Texas, eastern New Mexico later today into tonight, and also some snow in those higher elevation areas. In fact, on Tuesday, expect a decent amount of accumulating snow across some of those Colorado Rockies. Cold air associated, we'll see that in a moment here, with the upper level low over the southwestern states, and some colder than normal air associated with that eastern upper level trough. Now let's push forward in time here. This is starting off the day here on Monday, and we go into the evening on Monday night and into the day on Tuesday. Again, as is customary with an omega block, very slow moving systems here. Here we go on Tuesday morning. Still reflection of the upper level low over the southwestern states and continuing over the Ohio Valley. That finally kicks on to the north and east by the time we get to the middle of the week. Cannot completely rule out a shower or thunderstorm on Wednesday in places like D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, but for the most part there will be pretty decent improvement in the weather on Wednesday, and slowly dissipating here out over the southwestern U.S. And then we get into the middle of the week and then the latter part of the week, and this upper level trough tends to reform over the mid-Atlantic region by the time we get to late Thursday night. There'll be a cold frontal system that will bring the chance for additional showers to the mid-Atlantic later Thursday night. Much cooler weather expected on Friday following the passage of that cold front. Probably it'll knock some 10 to 15 degrees off the temperatures between Thursday and Friday in the northeastern part of the nation. Then we get into the end of the work week here and finally into the day on Saturday. If this is likely to continue to the east here during the early part of the weekend, leading to a relatively nice weekend in the mid-Atlantic region. Something we'll have to kind of focus in on over the next few days, because these upper level lows tend to be very slow moving this time of the year. So hopefully this gets out of the picture for the northeastern states by the upcoming weekend. Meanwhile, out in the middle of the country, strong upper level ridge really starts to dominate the scene here over the upcoming weekend, and that slowly expands to the east, and that certainly would bring some much warmer, above normal conditions to the Great Lakes, the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast U.S. by the early part of next week. Well, again, we mentioned those upper level troughs associated with colder than normal air masses. Here is where that upper level low is spinning over the Ohio Valley, much colder than normal air at the 850 millibar level, and also over the southwestern states. Again, we have this clash zone area right in this area right here with colder than normal air sliding slowly to the east and clashing with some warmer, more humid air out ahead of it. And right in this area right here, you have the chance for severe weather later on today into tonight. And that has kind of been a pattern here over the last several weeks. Colder than normal air masses either coming in from off the Pacific into the western U.S. or coming into the nation from Canada into the central and eastern U.S. So as long as we have that continuing, we will continue to have severe weather possibilities here. And here we go into the middle part of the week, and still kind of a colder than normal stretch here from the southwestern states into the mid-Atlantic region at the 850 millibar level. And again, you can see some accumulating snow in some of those higher elevation locations of the Rockies on Tuesday and Tuesday night with this colder than normal air mass. Then we get into the latter part of the week, and I mentioned that cold front sliding south and east, causing additional showers in the mid-Atlantic, in the northeast later this week, later Thursday night. Colder air moves in to end the work week here on Friday. Even the possibility of some frost up across the interior northeast, interior part of New England, let's say going into early Friday morning, perhaps again early Saturday morning with this colder than normal air mass. So again, watch out for possibility of frost even as late as May the 9th this particular year. And here we go, still colder than normal. Starting off the weekend from the northeast all the way down to Texas, warmer than normal starting to develop here in earnest out across the interior western U.S. and northwestern part of the nation. Remember, we saw that upper level ridge that will really intensify across the northern plains by the early part of next week. Here we go into Sunday, and then finally into Monday, a week from right now, with that strong upper level ridge. Expect warmer than normal conditions to expand across the Great Lakes, northeast U.S. in a week's time. We're talking about the early part of next week. Now let's wrap up with the surface forecast maps using the 0Z run of the GFS model. These maps, by the way, all from tropicaltidbits.com. Again, we have this upper level low spinning right here over the Ohio Valley. Winds on its eastern flank are pumping moist air right up along the Atlantic seaboard here. And there's not much showing up on radar right now in the Middle Atlantic region, but expect that to increase in intensity and coverage over the next few hours. And the model reflects this. Notice the change from early today into the early part of the afternoon. And indeed, this should happen if you take a look at the radar right now versus 3-4 hours from now. You'll see a lot more radar echoes in the Mid-Atlantic region. Get a little bit of that instability added to the atmosphere with a little bit of daytime heating, and there will be bands, more numerous bands of showers and thunderstorms in a few hours lasting right through the afternoon. And here we go. Surface low reflected here out across southwestern Pennsylvania by early this evening. Again, this is the area of concern for severe weather later on today into tonight. You have kind of the combination of ingredients that we've talked about at length here over the last several weeks. Strong surface low. You have this influx of warm, humid air from off the Gulf into whatever part of the nation we're talking about. In this particular case, it's into Texas. And meanwhile, you have this colder than normal air sliding towards that warmer, more humid air, setting up that clash zone again later today and tonight, and even an enhanced risk out across western Texas. And here we go as we get into the day on Tuesday. Again, this part of the Rocky Mountains can see some significant snowfall late tonight, also on Tuesday. Again, cold enough for some accumulating snow in those higher elevation locations of Colorado and New Mexico, and even farther to the north, out across Wyoming, parts of Montana. This is a cold air mass for this time of the year. Meanwhile, back east, you still have that upper level low sitting right over the Ohio Valley region. A lot of moist air riding up along the Atlantic seaboard, so expect to see additional showers and thunderstorms on Tuesday and Tuesday night. Even the possibility of some severe thunderstorm activity on Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday night in the Mid-Atlantic region. Let's go out, excuse me, a little bit farther in time here. Again, as is the case today, kind of an expansion, a more widespread coverage of the radar echoes as we get some of that daytime heating on Tuesday, and perhaps some strong to severe thunderstorms continue on Tuesday afternoon out across parts of Oklahoma and eastern Texas. Today, western Texas. Tomorrow, maybe northeastern Texas, south central part of Oklahoma, and again, accumulating snow out across the Colorado Rockies into some of those higher elevations of New Mexico. And here by tomorrow night, still dealing with that upper level system here in the northeastern states with additional showers and thunderstorms. Tends to weaken and move off to the north and east at midweek, but we have this cold frontal system that will start to slide south and east across the Great Lakes, and by the time we get into late afternoon on Thursday, it could produce some showers and thunderstorms in the Mid-Atlantic region. And then finally by Friday, that system with that slow-moving upper-level low kind of reestablishing itself can have an impact all the way into the early part of Friday. And there'll be colder air moving in at this particular time on the heels of this system, certainly later Friday night, out across the Mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S. Again, maybe isolated areas can get some frost in this particular cold air mass here, and still dealing with that slow-moving upper-level low with the surface low reflected here by the time we get to midday on Saturday. These are tricky situations this time of the year, so we'll have to continue to focus in on those upper-level lows for the latter part of the week into the early part of the week, and they certainly can continue to slow down and cause an extended period of unsettled weather. Here we go all the way into the day on Sunday, and finally into Monday, 1 week from right now. We talked about that strong upper level ridge building in this part of the nation. A week from right now, next Monday, you can see that influx of warmer air from the south central states all the way up into the northern plains, and that warmer than normal air should push into the Great Lakes, into the Mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S. during the first half of next week. That's it for now. A lot going on with these upper level lows here, one out across the southwestern states and one still spinning over the Ohio Valley, slowly edging its way north and east over the next 48 hours or so. For ArcfieldWeather.com, this has been meteorologist Paul Dorian.